It's such a joy to be together this morning, us of all ages, of all generations, being here together to celebrate our annual water communion or water ceremony or water celebration. This is a service that has been going on in Unitarian Universalism for about 4 decades, maybe a little bit more. And it's to symbolize us coming back together after the summer and thinking about all the gifts that we bring to this community. So it's a joy that you're here this morning. I'm the Reverend Nick Cable, and I serve as minister of this congregation. So whether this is your first time or you've been coming for decades, it's a joy that you're here with us today. This is an all ages service. And so what that means is that all of us get to have a little more fun and hear a little bit less of the boring long sermon and get to do a little bit more ritual and things that we're like, oh, that's just for the kids. But actually we're like, I really want to do more of that. So here you go. We get to do that today. So I hope that if you saw the email to bring in some water, that's great. But we also have extra water to participate in the water ceremony a little bit later in the service. After the service, we have a couple of great offerings for to do. We, of course, will have coffee, conversation, time. I encourage you to walk the grounds, grab something to eat, and say hello to someone new. There'll also be the Second Sunday Forum led by the Reuters that'll be in the Elsie Weekly room, which is a great way to learn about something related to social justice and hopefully inspire you in your action and your living ethically in life. And then also I'll be hosting a small get together at 11:30 for anyone who wants to participate in a budget conversation for our 2025. I know she's coming. 2024 budget is right around the corner. And so if you are a budget stakeholder or would like to talk more with me, we're going to be meeting back in here at about 11:30. Once again, it's a joy to be together this morning. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, and whomever you love, you are welcome here.
Today's opening words are The Spirit of Water by Katie Savani Gelfand. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We're gathered together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence.
So growing up, when I was Luca's age or younger, I always loved this service every year. It happened around this time in Wisconsin, where I grew up as a Unitarian Universalist. It was our school year started later. And so it really felt like everyone was coming back together. And this pouring of water into one common space was kind of something I looked forward to as a kid. And I also think it's something that spoke to adults and children alike, because it kind of had a very simple imagery, but also something really profound of us bringing our various waters together in community and recognizing that in community that nourishment, that source of life can grow by our participation in it. So this service is something that we've been doing since I arrived here, and I think has happened before I arrived here. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate the tributaries that you all are, these sort of creeks and things that run into this common river of our lives. And so in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come forward as you feel comfortable and capable. And we're each going to be able to pour a little water into the common bowl. If you brought some, which I did, which is from our bathroom, because, sanitation, you have to wash your hands afterwards. It's very important. You don't want to take that for granted. No, but sometimes people will bring water from their backyard, or if they live near a body of water or the river up at downtown, or on some traveling they did. But it's a great way to think about it during the year if there's some water or space that you might go to grab some. But if you just brought it from home, or if you use some that we've prepared for you, all of that is still beautiful, nourishing, and rewarding. After the service, we're going to put a little bit out into the memorial garden, but we're also going to save some that we're going to be able to use at different times throughout the year. So as you feel comfortable, I invite you forward as we celebrate our water communion this year. All of these waters now, just kidding. All of these waters are the waters of our community. No other community, just our community. Those who are here today putting their waters, their love, their peace, their strength, their joy, and also some of their tears and their pain into this water. This water will help nourish our community this year. This water will help nourish our grounds this year. It'll help celebrate life and death this year. And ultimately, I hope that you feel, as when you come into contact with water, which hopefully is on a daily basis, you find the opportunity to give thanks for all the water that is you, for all the water that sustains you, and for all the water that is precious in this world that we must continue to protect.
So some of you lovely people may have gotten one of these on your way in. If you didn't, raise your hand and Nick will bring you one, because you will need this. It is not water, it is bubbles. And I just want to share how lovely it was to watch adults go, ooh, when they got bubbles this morning. So don't open them yet. Okay. And I will just share with you, they can be a little challenging. So watch if your friend or neighbor might need help. When it is time to open them, it's best if you kind of hold it in the same hand you're trying to open and kind of flip the top. And that's where your bubble thing will be. But don't do it yet. Okay. So hold on to them for just a second. So my kids are now 19, 17, and 13. Hard to believe. But when they were little and they would get scared, or they would get hurt, or they would get frustrated, I used bubbles as a tool. Because I don't know about you, if I've ever been hurt or scared or frustrated, and someone's like, just take a deep breath, that is the last thing I want to do sometimes. And when you're a young person, sometimes that's very hard to get control of your breath. So bringing back a joyful memory, something that brings you much delight, like bubbles, and all the people who went, ooh, bubbles this morning. I taught my kids, because there's a few interesting things about bubbles. So now you can open them and try to follow with me. I'll give you a second, and you can listen and join in as you're able. One of the things that happens with bubbles, if I'm crying, sometimes, that might make me smile, right? But if I'm really mad and frustrated and I go, nothing happens. Now, if I take and I am very, very smooth and calm and gentle, it might pop. And it's a good metaphor, because sometimes you have to keep trying. And you have to be gentle with bubbles too. Sometimes what happens if you touch a bubble? It pops. And something else that happens, sometimes when you're mad or scared or nervous or upset, might you need your own bubble? You might need your own bubble space. So I encourage you to keep this little bottle. You get to take this home. We would like the ribbons back at the end, but you get to take the bubbles home as a tool to help you remind you to find a little joy. Look at that one. And that we're all just trying and working and trying to find our smooth, steady, gentle breaths as we travel along. So I love seeing and hearing the delight. So as we wrap up our bubble blowing, are going to join in our musical response of joy like a fountain and pain like an arrow. And you can keep blowing bubbles too, if that makes your heart happy. I hope you found a moment to close your eyes and think deeply, or to eat bubbles and blow and giggle, whatever you are needing today. Let us check in with our bodies, settle in a moment for a short reading. This reading is Climbing the Golden Mountain by Michael Kisau Moore. Listen, turn everything off. When the noise of our lives drifts away, when the chatter of our minds sinks into that perfect lake of nothing, then we can apprehend that golden mountain, always there, waiting for us to be still enough to hear it.
Have you ever heard it or said it? I wish it was quieter during Sunday services. I wish it was quieter during Sunday services. Do you ever think that or feel that? Well, let me tell you, it's very human, very human. But what I say, and what I know from growing up Unitarian Universalist, a place where a congregation, adults, allow you to be a child, allow you to laugh and have fun, is such a gift that we can't even understand it as adults because we've been adults for too long. We've been told, grow up, be quiet, sit still, and we've forgotten what it's like to laugh. We've forgotten what it really means to laugh. You know how sometimes laughter is really just sort of us crying with a little more percussion in it? You know, it's like, that's more of what adult laughter is. You know, it's really just angst of like this world we're living in. But children, I've experienced, are pure in their laughter. Their laughter is truly around the joyfulness that is life. When they laugh, when they experience things, then we have an opportunity as adults over here. We can say, well, geez. When I was that age at a Methodist church, or when I was that age at a, oh, did I just out some Methodists? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm inclusive to all of your backgrounds. Okay. But when I was growing up, children were to be seen, not heard. And this is not just Christianity. This is a lot of religious traditions. But one of the things we have an opportunity here, and I think Adrienne does a good job doing that, is to reinforce that perhaps our children are trying to tell us something through their laughter, through their inability to sit still, that maybe we could learn from. I want this to be a place where we can laugh together, and that we can cry together, and that we can see the fullness of emotion, and not create this linear understanding of human development. You know, I was a child, I spoke like a child, and whatever the rest of that passage is. Now I'm an adult. Now I got to put away childish things. And I think there's some more nuance to that, right? I think that there's something that's related to like a not fully cyclical, because we are progressing. The image I like is not a line or a circle, but of those old phone cords. Yes, I'm old enough to remember those. that are moving forward, but they're also having a cyclical pattern to them. You could stretch it out, but there's something that's really beautiful in how they just line up really nicely. And so here in this congregation, every Sunday when we have children in the building, which thankfully, don't take this one for granted, thankfully is every Sunday. When we have children in the building, we have the gift of learning together across generations and to see the joy of laughter and the necessity of tears and the joy of being able to cry, to have space to feel your emotions, and the necessity for laughter. So when we do water communion, when we do these other services that are all ages, it's really an opportunity for us to remind ourselves that we want to be a life-giving, life-spanning generation, multi-generational congregation. It's not like an aside, so I don't have to preach. It's a gift so that we can hear the preaching of laughter. We can hear the gift that is the joy of being together with people from different generations. Because when we're in a silo, when we're in this, in our little bubbles, we aren't able to see the fullness of life. And though the fullness of life includes our children, the fullness of life includes our adults and our older adults. And so there's not a cliff event also where you're in your sweet spot of adulthood. And then you get to your kind of later years and it's similar to the children, not sure what to do. No, there's something beautiful to be achieved and to learn from one another at these different chapters. There's so many gifts that we offer through our laughter and our tears and the stories that underpin those things. So I give thanks for all of the gifts of this community that exists in the simplicity of a child's laugh, but it also is in the reception of that laugh or of that tear from you all to be able to receive and to give and receive alike. It takes both. You can't laugh in a vacuum. It's received in a sanctuary. And that is a gift that I'm reminded of this morning and will be reminded of anytime we gather together in community. May it be so, and amen.
All Rivers Run to the Sea by Kaylee Rice. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water poured into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.